Vasudeva. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudiraye. Before reciting Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama-shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. By regular attendance in the classes on Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Guruve Gaur Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Namaha Pankajanabhaya Namaha Pankajamalini Namaha Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangri Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Who knows text 29? Anyone has learned text 29, chapter 16? Namastubhyam Bhagavate Purushaya Mahiyase Sarvabhuta Nivasaya Vasudevaya Sakshine. This was one of the mantras given by Kashyap Muni. You can try to learn. Thank you so much, dear Vaishnavas, for joining. We are reading Granth Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 16, entitled Executing the Process of Payo-vrata Worship. Payo referring to milk. So we have discussed quite a few rules and regulations here. And we were also parallelly trying to discuss some of the rules from Vaishnava etiquette book, like how to offer bhoga, how to offer how to handle different nirmalya, or the articles which are offered to the Lord, like flour, charnamrita, etc. What should we do? How should we properly respect those? So we will continue to do like this and move on to the next verse. But before we move to the next verse, let's discuss a few things which were left out yesterday from the Vaishnava etiquette manual, how to handle DT clothing and the Maha Prasadam as well. Would someone like to read the DT clothing part? Anyone?
I can.
Okay.
Yes, Sampata Mataji, you can read, and then Sudev. Yeah, you'll get chance, Thaira Mataji, one by one.
Hare Krishna. Deity's clothing. Another type of nirmalya used is clothing from the deity. Deity clothing which is distributed as prasada of the Lord should be respected. We may respect prasada cloth by keeping it with other worshipable paraphernalia, or even by keeping it in a glass frame and hanging it on a wall like a painting or a photograph. One may also wear it, but strictly speaking, it is best not to cut and resew the cloth, as is a widespread custom. If cutting and resewing is to be done, it should be only for devotional clothing. Bead bags and costumes for children's drama is acceptable if the drama is for glorification of the Lord. Avoid wearing any prasad cloth below your waist. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So I think this is clear. We should not wear it as a casual costume. we should put it in a sacred place, or these things which I don't want to repeat again. So Prabhu, what you did with the cloth? I was hoping I'll get some, but I forgot the cloth for the Abhishek.
Yeah, we still have it, Prabhuji.
Yeah, save something for me.
For sure, Prabhu. Everything's fine.
So generally, I tie it around my wrist, remembrance of the deity, remembrance of Krishna. We should not put it around our, especially I'm referring about the white cloth we used for the Gornithais bathing.
Okay.
So some, like my wife has a bead bag made up of DT clothes which someone gifted her. So like that, we can use. We also have from Kishori temple, someone gifted us Krishna's feather that they used at the altar. So now we have kept it at our altar. So because as mentioned here, we can keep it with other very worshipable paraphernalia, basically referring to the altar. If someone gives us some like I remember we got some in the Jagannath Snana Yatra, we got some special which kind of articles from the Lord's body. So we can gift it also. That's a good thing. We should share the mercy because it's very, very special, and also keep at home. Okay, yes, we'll read the next section.
Prabhuji, can I?
Yes, Mata, please read.
As is commonly practiced in many temples in India, after the darshan arti, the pujari may distribute small morsels of prasadam to devotees directly from the altar room or from outside. Sometimes for preaching purposes, small quantity of prasadam is distributed to guests. Devotees respect these remains immediately, moving somewhat to the side of the temple room so as not to be directly in front of deities while eating. Try to distribute dry sweet prasadam as wet prasadam may spill on the ground. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. I think very, very clear how we should accept it. We should try to avoid eating in front of the deities as far as possible. And therefore in temples also, if the same hall is used for prasadam, they cover it. Some temples have common hall for lecture and prasadam. So when the lecture is done and prasadam is about to begin, the deity's curtain will be closed. So that's a standard practice which we can also do as far as possible. And we should again avoid spilling on the ground, which we have already discussed. Okay, we'll come back to this later, but let's read text 44-45. Bhunjitater anugyataha sheshta shesham sabhajitai brahmachari athatad ratriyam asvo bhute prithame ahani snatah sucheryatho tena vidhina susam ahitaha payasa snapyet payasa snapayit marchet yavad vrata samapanam. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. One should perfectly honor the respectable brahmanas one has fed, and then, after taking their permission, one should take prasada with his friends and relatives. For that night, one should observe strict celibacy, and the next morning, after bathing again with purity and attention, one should bathe the deity of Vishnu with milk and and worship him according to the methods formerly stated in detail. Hare Krishna. So here, I think we discussed before that one should offer prasadam to the Vaishnavas in text number 41 and Brahmanas in 43. And then after serving everyone, that person can take some prasadam or the mercy of the Lord, and offering following celibacy and purity, and next day continue the same. That's called Nirantar Seva. It's not that we have to do this for one day only. We should try to do this every day. So therefore our standard practices, our reading of Bhagavatam, our chanting of holy names, worshipping the deities, offering them, are not just once in a blue moon or once on festivals. These are our standard core practices, like how these days we recharge our phone every day, right? Sometimes twice a day. Therefore, these practices will recharge or keep us charged up. If we do once in a week, then we will be discharged. So, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, Nirantar Namalokara Tulasi Seva, Achirat Pabitava Krishna Acharan. So we must do with attention, with faith, with purity and attention. Very, very important words here. Purity and attention. That means Susamahita. Susamahita. Absorption, attention. It's a very, very important thing for all devotional services. Okay, we'll read the next verse. Yes, Sudhir Prabhu, you want to read? And others can raise their hand. If you haven't got chance or you really, really want to read, please raise your hand so we'll come to you. Yes, please. Sudhir Prabhu, you want to read?
Sure, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna devotees, and pranam. I'm Sri Prabhupada. Payo-vrata idam charet Vishna archanatrata purvavach jahyad agnim brahmanam chapi bhojayat. Translation and purport by Stephen Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Sorry, only translation. Worshipping Lord Vishnu with great faith and devotion and living only by drinking milk, one should follow this vow. One should also offer oblations to the fire and feed the brahmanas as mentioned before. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So, again, the words faith and devotion are coming. So, if we draw some conclusions or summary, this process, we also take vrata. I'll chant, 16 rounds, follow the regulative principles. We should do with firm faith and devotion. Wow, this is a wow, vrata. It's important. Vrata means we follow it sincerely, with determination, with dedication, with faith, with purity. And feeding Vaishnavas, feeding Brahmanas, very, very important. And drinking milk here, we can say in our circumstances, simple living, not overeating, atyahara prayasascha, not over-endeavoring. Simple living will help to execute the process of worshipping Lord Vishnu with great faith. So we can't just live on milk in present situation, but the point is to minimize or live in a very simple and simple life. Right? Simple living is very, very helpful. Okay, text 47. Would someone like to read this one? Who hasn't got a chance? Sorry, yes, people, please.
Hare Krishna devotees, Dhanur Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Text 47. Evam ta ahar aha kurad dadasham payo-vratam hare aradhanam homam arhanam dijo tarpanam. Translation by His Divine Grace is Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. In this way, until 12 days have passed, one should observe this Payo-vrata, worshipping the Lord every day, executing the routine duties, performing sacrifices, and feeding the Brahmanas. Back to Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. I think we discussed this. One should do these daily. So we'll keep moving. Text 48. Anyone wants to read?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. I can read.
Yes, please.
Dandavat Pranam, everyone. Text 48. Pradipadhinamarabhya yavachukka latrayo dasem brahmacharya madham swapranam swapram swanam trishavan chareta. Translation by His Divine Grace Prabhupada ki Jai. From Pratipad until the until the 13th day of the next bright moon, Shukla Trayodasi, one should observe complete celibacy, sleep on the floor, bathe 3 times a day, and thus execute the vow. Pratipad. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, back to you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So, basically referring to the first day till the last day of this sacrifice, from the Pratipad until the 13th day of the next bright moon. The process started on Amavasya. Okay, so that will come in the Shukla Paksha. Okay, good. So basically following celibacy, living simply, we discussed that, bathing 3 times a day to get, and then we discussed in the Abdan Sanskar process also these things are mentioned, that to get divine soul, one has to prove, one has to show sincerity to the Lord, that I really want you, I really want to get your blessings, to get your mercy. So then that activity will become spiritual. Otherwise, it's a very, very materialistic thing, which can degrade us. But here we see the whole consciousness is different. The consciousness is not to enjoy, but the consciousness is to serve and to get a divine child. So to get a child, of course, like Vaman Dev, one has to pay the price also, or show one's sincerity, the price of sincerity. We see that in the lives of all the great souls, Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya. So all these are, and it starts even before the conception. It doesn't start on conception, or it doesn't start, the training starts actually, the preparation starts before the conception. So we must encourage everyone to follow this who may be in that kind of area or that stage of their lives. And as I mentioned in the past, I have made some documents also on this topic, which I have shared with some of you as per your request. Okay, any comments or additions? And those are available for those who are hearing this or will be hearing this. This is nothing secret, but so if you need those, I can certainly share. Okay, text 49. Yes, Ekant Prabhu. Any questions or additions before we move on to the next verse? Yes, let's move on. Ekant Prabhu, you want to read?
Right. Sure, Babaji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Text 49. Varjayad asad alapam bhogan uchavacham statha ahim shara sarva bhutanam vasudeva parayanaha. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. During this period, one should not necessarily talk of material subjects or topics of sense gratification. One should be completely free from envy of all living entities, and one should be a pure and simple devotee of Lord Vasudeva. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Life is short and we are on a journey, we are on a mission to get Krishna Prema. In this life, time is also short, so we should not waste time in useless talks of material subjects or sense gratification. Asat Sangatyag A Vaishnav Achar. King Kulashekar Alvar in the first verse of Mukundwala Stotra says, Alapinam pratidnam karumam Mukunda. I want to chant the names of Mukunda. Asat alapinam varjayed. I want to refrain. I do not want to chant Asad alapa. What do I want to chant? I want to chant the holy names. I want to chant the holy names, forms, qualities, pastimes of Krishna. So that should be our desire, to refrain from waste talks, nonsense talks, and bad association, which is not conducive for our spiritual life or Krishna consciousness. And one should not be envious of others, especially of devotees, because envy will not take us anywhere. Envy means no vacancy in Krishna consciousness. Envy. And simple living, pure and simple devotee. Bhakti is simple for simple. If we have hidden agendas, crookedness, different, then we will just complicate our lives and just get distracted from the goal. But simply and purely we offer ourselves to Krishna, then life will be easy and smooth. The journey of bhakti will be smoother. Okay, next verse. Yes, someone else.
I have one. So, like we live in the material world, we are working people. So, and we're in the preaching mission as well. So, when we talk with others, we cannot directly talk about the Krishna, right? So sometimes we have to talk about the sports, sometimes political, little bit, just to familiarize and slowly. And to know about the sports and talk about the politics, you have to keep an eye on so what's going on around. So if you listen or if you watch, and then you become a little bit friend, you distribute the books. So how to balance this?
Thank you, Prabhuji, for your nice question. So first of all, there are different audiences here. Ultimately, I'll share with the topmost level my teachers say that if something is really important for a sincere sadhaka to know, then they will get to know. It will be kind of everything, and if the whole world will know, then you'll get to know also. Like, for example, there's a hurricane coming, right? The whole world will talk about it, and then you'll get to know by somehow or the other. It's not that I have to open and see the weather forecast every day to see if there is a hurricane coming or not. If something is as big like a, and then the whole world will talk about it. That will come. Same with news. I mean, I didn't go anywhere to inquire what's the price of the uh, the ticket for the Super Bowl. Somehow or the other, in my conversation through some devotees also, only I got to know that, oh wow, and I used it for preaching and just reflecting that how much people are paying to watch a short match for 2-3 hours. I don't know how long it happens, maybe a couple of hours at max. So that's like we don't need to spend extra time. If it's our, like if someone is a news anchor, that's their role, that's a different thing. If someone is a doctor, then he would be reading about new medicines and new processes, and same with an engineer, they may read about their academic stuff. That's a different story. That's for their profession, which can also be spiritualized. That's a different topic. But talking about news, sports, then we have to see how much am I inclined towards my own self. Am I watching this match for my own self, or am I watching this for the for Krishna? I mean, that may sound a little odd, because ultimately it's not that you will be able to relate to everyone in the world, correct? To be able to someone say, oh, I watched this this team, and New York team won, or Tampa Bay lost, or whatever, and you may not have details about it. It's not that we need to know everything, because someone else will say, well, I don't watch that Super Bowl, I watch basketball. Hey, do you know about that famous basketball star? Oh, I don't watch that, I'm watching the latest movie which has been released. So if we try to keep up with everything, then we will just be busy keeping in touch with everything, and then our time and energy will go. If something is as important like a hurricane, then that we will get to know. If something is really big, it will come. So ultimately, this is like the response which I got, and because time is short. And yes, we have to find the common grounds. That your point is very appropriate. We have to find some common grounds, especially in the beginning. And that common ground can be something generic. Okay, what do you do as a profession? Oh, I also like, you like sweets. Oh, I also like sweets. What's your famous sweet? Or something like that. Oh, next time when I come to you, next time we'll meet, I'll get some sweets for you. And so like that, so we can give them prashadam. Oh, you like gulab jamun? I also like gulab jamun. Something like that. Oh, you like to do yoga. Oh, I have a friend who does yoga, and I'm also trying to learn yoga, which is a little bit more on the sattvic level. So, or someone, oh, you like to spend time at beach. Oh, we have this Rath Yatra coming up, so don't miss. You can, go to the beach with your family and just stop by. There'll be nice prashadam. They'll be wonderful, and I'll see you at the beach. So, yes, we have to use those words and to connect with people, to find the common grounds. It could be something from the culture, it could be something from the language, it could be something from the current affairs. Uh, but we have to understand that we will not know everything in the world, and they will not. The thing which I may be knowing, they may have not no clue, and the thing which they may be knowing, which I don't have, but some common ground will be there. Some common ground. So we have to find that common ground, and try to connect. And the more pious, the more sattvic that common ground can be. Like the common ground can be, oh, I also used to drink this wine. Oh, you drink this wine. That's also common ground, but it's not a good common ground, right? What do you think? That's my thought.
So, Prabhuji, I don't know other devotees feeling like me or not here. So, if I compare myself 3 years back and now, I feel myself more lonely and isolated in my workplace, because the talk goes on around 99.9% time. I have no like I'm not up to date or no clues. Though I understand the things, so 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 becoming isolated and lonely in the workplace actually because no point to talk. So I don't know whether the others feel that or not.
Again, it's I can imagine. I have also I feel that sometimes, but recently, what I have been doing. Bankim Prabhu gave me some gulab jamun. So anytime I meet my colleague, I said, "Well, I got a sweet for you," and I give them those. You won't believe I had lunch with my general manager. My wife cooked, and I arranged it because we are not catering now because of COVID, and he was very happy that I found common ground with Indian food, right? I and he's a very nice person. So I had such a nice, and he appreciated that lunch, prasadam, quote unquote. And then I gave him, which my wife made, what do you call that? Poha, chipped rice. What's that? Not poha
Yeah.
actually. Not poha. It's like a snack. Puffed rice. Sorry, puffed rice. Chivra. Yeah, chivra. Yeah, puffed rice. And everyone loves it. So first I gave to one, and then he shared with someone and said, "Oh, I heard about it." And just imagine now the prasadam conversation is floating around. Of course, they don't say prasadam, but they say rice snack. So then I gave it, and he came from New York, and I said, "Take one for your family." And then he took for his family also. Now his friends and his kids also liked it. And now next time he is sharing with me that how. So it's a small thing. So rather than so we have to be intelligent. I know, like Ishita Dulal Prabhu was mentioning this. He's in New York. His wife cooks cookies. He takes them to office and just put a note, you know gluten-free cookies, or chocolate cookies, or carob cookies, or vanilla cookies. Pick, help yourself. They're taking prasad, and then you can put your name also, that so that you will feel involved. They will feel that you are not kind of socially outcast. And some people keep, okay, books on self-help books. Pick one. That's it. We don't need to ask for donation and all in the office. They may think a little differently. The small books less than $1, and we can easily give, or give some prasadam. So and yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean I have to know all the restaurants in town. Sometimes they talk about, do you know about Indian restaurant, and somehow I have to dovetail the conversation because I don't know. I've not been there. I mean, they're Indian restaurants, so they hope that I would know more about living here for 4 years, but I don't know. So I somehow kind of move the conversation. But try to find the common grounds. Try to take some prasadam. Your family will like, and it will give a very positive experience. Try to take some small, very generic books about yoga. Books on say that books on self-help. I'm sharing as a friend. Try to give them something simple. Try to ask genuinely about their family. They'll feel so, because in this day and age no one genuinely asks about someone's well-wisher. And you being from that you know medical profession, you can say, okay, something, or this is my take, but again, there could be different opinions here, and so I'm curious to hear what all of you have to share. Anyone wants to add to this discussion? That's a good point. Hare Krishna. Can you be please a little close to the microphone? We can't really hear you.
Yes. Okay, is this, I hope this is better now. I'm driving today
Oh,
for
much
book
better.
distribution. Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, there's a couple of things. You have a very genuine desire to be Krishna conscious. So, and that's really appreciated. And it's kind of always possible that you may be isolated. Just know two things. One, pray to Gornita. Gornita, this is my problem. And they will find the solution. You don't have to worry about it. Once it's Krishna's problem, he will find the best solution. And second, yes, if Krishna makes you lonely, then Krishna will find you a much better job. And this is my personal experience. the last company I was, we were in a political consultancy. They used to talk to senators every day and stuff. But and I used to take so much prasadam. If for my birthday, they called the devotee and brought me a cake. I was buying cakes for everybody's birthdays and stuff. But they were opposite of devotees' point of views, and I became lonely after another girl left. There were 12 guys. But in 2 months, Kṛṣṇa found me POVP job, which was the best job, and my life hasn't changed completely. We went to 20 temples with travel with pure devotees. So even if you are feeling lonely, even if it is supposed to be end, Kṛṣṇa has so much more in the store. Sky is the limit, Prabhu. So even make it deities. Pray to the deities most sincerely, and let it be that. If this job goes, then you have much better job waiting. In addition to everything Shubhavilas Govind Prabhu said, these would be my two things, because he's the best at preaching. So those things are most admirable, but this is my personal experience. I hope it helps, Prabhu, a little bit. Hare Krishna, Dandavad.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Very nice. Anyone else has any thoughts, ideas, questions? Anyone else wants to speak? Vipul Prabhu, what do you say?
No, yeah, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji Mataji.
Try, take the steps, take the baby steps. You can take a vow. Okay, I'll give one cookie to one colleague, patient, nurse, whatever. We can bag it or whatever every day. That's your act of service to Prabhupada. It's not difficult, right? And it's not that you have to make every day. Even if you make once in a week, they last good for at least a week. Giving one cookie a day, and take your role as a opportunity that Kṛṣṇa has sent you in that role to make a meaningful difference in the lives of others. And it will increase your sense of accomplishment and satisfaction at work. Like His Grace, Adigadar Prabhu also is in that medical field, and His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj told him a few things. And I'm going to share what I heard from him. He says there's some test to check the muscular activity, right? So he'll say, okay, touch your knee and say knee. So I want to check how your muscles are working or not. Everything is good. Touch your knee and then touch your thigh. So knee, thigh, knee, thigh. Just speak also and touch also. Knee, thigh, knee, thigh. So in that they're chanting the names of Nityananda Prabhu. So that's how intelligently we have to figure out ways based on our own. And you being a doctor, they can't say no, right? Because you're checking, is there something like that? I'm sure, because Adhikar Prabhu does that. So I'm just quoting and repeating. And same with sometimes say, okay, now we have to clap. And we'll have to say Hari, Hurry, Hari. So it's same as HARI. So they're clapping Hari, 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 Hari. So it's kind of a test of their muscles, and they are unknowingly, they are getting unlimited spiritual benefit, which will make your work transcendental, because you are yatra gayanti mad bhakta tatra tisthami narada. So, right? So that is amazing. And we have to intelligently figure out it, because sometimes it's through prasadam, sometimes through use that authority which Kṛṣṇa has given us. So you have that authority at that work, because the patient thinks the doctor as God in many places, because whatever the doctor says, and mostly the patient will say, okay, I'll follow your instructions, right? In 99% situations. So we can use that as, what do you think? Right? So some creative ideas from Guru Parampara.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, yeah, that's I think a very unique idea about Hari and Nitai. I mean, I really like Prabhuji. So my question a little bit, I kind of also, of course not during the COVID. Before COVID, I used to travel, and we used to play volleyball, and sometimes we talk. I mean, not much, maybe 5, 10 minutes about like politics and all. So is that okay, Prabhuji, or that is also not at all? I mean, not suggested.
See, ultimately, you, it's we are there's a fine balance, right? For example, now if something is affecting me, for example, let's say I have to apply for visa, then I need to know what's the process, and I'll take someone's help also, and I'll ask them about those things. So that's fine. That's utility is the principle. So we have to be street smart as well. It's not that, oh, because no one else is going to do that process for me. I have to figure out my path, right? Of course, it's Krishna who's going to take. Hare Krishna. Someone trying to share their screen, I guess. Okay. So yeah, I mean, utility is the principle. Utility is the principles, and it's fine in moderation, but it should not like 5 minutes should ultimately. Whenever we meet devotees also, it's not that, let's say you meet devotees for 3 hours, like A to Z, from the first 0 minute to the 180th minute, we'll talk about Krishna and Krishna. Even the Goswamis used to ask about, how is your daughter doing? Did she get married? How was your farm yield this year? Oh, your son had last time some disease. Is he feeling better? So this is not considered prajalpa. This is considered being a genuine well-wisher. Oh, your son was going for music classes. How is he doing? Let me hear what he has learned. So become a genuine well-wisher, and then they will take it. But at the same time, we have to be intelligent also. It's not that, okay, 3 hours are gone and we are just talking about how is the family doing, right? So we have to ask about their, like, we have to, therefore we need to understand how to deal with different kinds of devotees, and that's also in the Vaishnava etiquette. When we go to a senior, we must inquire submissively. When we meet those who are newer to us, then we must try to give. First, ask about the family, exchange greetings, etc. Ask about job, health, and the social stuff. Then we need to start our discussion. Okay, can we do 10-minute kirtan? Can we chant together? Can we read some verses from Bhagavad Gita or something like that, based on situations? Again, these are we have to be mindful of the situations and their level of spiritual maturity, and so fine balance is required. So if, for everything, does that
Yes,
help?
Prabhuji. Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji.
This is good discussion. Any other comments around this before we? Okay, let's read maybe one more verse and then we'll pause for today. Text 50. Anyone wants to read?
Can I read, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mata.
Dandavat Pranam, everyone. Text 50. Trayodashyam atho Vishnaha Snapanam Panchakyer Vibhoho Karayach Chastra Drashtena Vidhina Vidhi Kovidahe. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Thereafter, following the directions of the Shastra with help from Brahmanas who know the Shastra, on the 13th day of the moon, one should bathe Lord Vishnu with 5 substances: milk, yogurt, ghee, sugar, and honey. Back to you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So we did that recently at the home of Sudhir Prabhu and Renuka Mataji on Nityanantradashi. They arranged such nice paraphernalia and all the ingredients. So we must do our best to, and these are the Panchamrita, the fives, milk, yogurt, ghee, and sugar water basically, because you can't put, it's sugar, water, and honey. So these are the 5 main substances. And we can also use juices like orange juice, grape juice, apple juice. Ekant Prabhu gets them very nicely from his special juicer. So thank you for your services. And also coconut water, some warm water, etc. Making garlands, fruit garlands, dry fruit garlands, etc. Okay. So we'll pause here. I think I was hoping to cover till 54 because shall we go ahead and because tomorrow Narayani Mataji is going to start from here, talk about the glories of Prasad. It will take maybe 10 minutes to cover the 4 verses. And we take those also. So it will be a continuation because she's going to talk from 55 and 56. Is it okay?
Sure.
Okay. Then let's read 51 and 2. Anyone? Sampada Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna. Pujam cha mahatim kuryad vitasatya vivarjitaha charum nirupya payasi sipi vistaya vishnave suktena tena purusham yajeta susamahitaha naivedyam jati gunavad tadyat purusha tustidam. Translation. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Giving up the miserly habit of not spending money, one should arrange for the gorgeous worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, who is situated in the heart of every living entity. With great attention, one must prepare an oblation of grains, boiled in ghee and milk, and must chant the Purusha Sukta mantra. The offerings of food should be of varieties of taste. In this way, one should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thank you, Prabhuji. Back to you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Very, very important. Giving up the miserly habit of not spending for the worship of the Lord. For my own worship, I'll get the best car, best clothes, best this, best that. But for the Lord, oh, just some little bundi is fine. Correct? In India, this is bundi or chipped rice. The worst thing for the Lord. That's very, very miserly. For our own self, getting the best, and for the Lord, getting the worst is not, that will not please the Lord. We should get the best ingredients for the Lord. The best we can afford. If one can, bring the Ganga water, one can get the Ganga water. Why not? If one can use gold vessels, one should use gold vessels. Why not? But if we use ourselves gold vessel and for cheap plastic for the Lord, that's not good. So we should give up the miserly habit or conjuice and arrange gorgeous worship. So it should be best in every aspect. The best ingredients, the best vessels, basically the whole mood is that ultimately everything belongs to the Lord only. Who am I to claim it as mine? This is not my money. It belongs to the Lord, so it must be used in His service. Otherwise, it's cheating, right? So Krishna does not see what we offer, but he sees what we hold back. That means one devotee, I think it's a story, one devotee gave, I think, five silver coins to God. And one devotee gave 20 gold coins. From external perspective, it may appear that the one who gave 20 gold coins must be very great. But the one who gave five silver coins, that's all he had. He gave everything to the Lord. And the one who gave 20 gold coins had 20 million gold coins. So giving 20 gold coins is like peanuts for him. So in the eyes of Lord, he knows everything. His Grace Rami Prabhu was mentioning that in his Krishna conscious days, he would give 90% of his income to the temple. Can you imagine that? In this day and age, if we ask to give 10% of the income, that would be too much for most. He was giving 90%. Satsvarup Goswami Maharaj giving 100% of his income while he was working. And so many, practically every one of them, they were giving their 100%. Body, mind, and soul, tan, man, dhan, everything in the service of Lord. That's why they are so special. Not just for one day, for their whole life actually. And therefore Krishna also rewards their sincerity accordingly. So one must make the best ingredients and chant the mantras and offer the wonderful bhoga. Okay, let's read text 53. Anyone who hasn't got chance today?
I can read.
Yes, Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna, devotees. Text 53. Acharyam Jnana Sampanam Vastrabharana Denubi Tosyat Ritvijas Chaiva Tadvidi Aradhanam Hare. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. One should satisfy the spiritual master, Acharya, who is very learned in Vedic literature, and should satisfy his assistant priests, known as Ota, Udgata, Advaryu, and Brahma. One should please them by offering them clothing, ornaments, and cows. This is a ceremony called Vishnu Aradhana, or worship of Lord Vishnu. Thank you, Prabhu. Back to you.
Thank you, Prabhu. So one should serve the devotees because Tadiyanam Samarchanam Mad Bhakta Puja Dika. Krishna is more pleased when we serve as devotees. So if one serves at the deities with a lot of nice abhisheka and this and that, but ignores the devotees of the Lord, then the worship is not complete. Because we have discussed time and again, Krishna eats the mouth of Brahmanas, so his devotees. Krishna loves his devotees more than his own self. So giving, based on time, place, situations, clothing, ornaments, cows. In this day and age, we have to see how will they take cows at home. So first of all, we don't have cows to give, and so we have to, based on situations, we have to see what we can give and what they can accept. Yeah. Because earlier, the Brahmanas would have cows in their ashram, and they would cows is real wealth actually. Prabhupada has shared many times, because so these kings and then those who would do this or as these brahmanas, spiritual masters do sick, they will give cows. Basically, that's real wealth. Okay, let's read the 54th verse also. Yes, looks like someone wants to read. Anyone? Who doesn't get a chance today? Kashish Mataji, want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam, text 54. Pojayeta dana gunavatta sadanena shuchismite anyansha brahmana chaktya yecha tatra samagata. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prabhuji, can you please scroll? Yeah, thank you. O most auspicious lady, one should perform all the ceremonies under the direction of learned acharyas and should satisfy them and their priests. By distributing prasad, one should also satisfy the brahmanas and others who have assembled. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much. Back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Distributing prasadam, very, very important. And Her Grace Narayani Mataji is going to talk extensively about this topic. So we will hear that from such a realized soul tomorrow morning. So don't miss that. So I'll pause here. Any comments or questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. This is something I want to share in respect to the question of Vipul Prabhuji. Actually, he was talking about his professional perspective. Sometimes this thing is something which I also feel in a joint family, that most of the time my family, my in-laws are talking about relatives and other things which I don't feel connected. So at that time, I feel that maybe they are not so much aware about Krishna consciousness, and we are being more closer to Krishna. So that moment when we feel loneliness or feeling disconnected, if we keep Krishna, do we feel that I feel that Krishna is near to me? I mean, I don't feel alone. So it doesn't gives me a kind of depression, but a kind of motivation that the time of my life is ticking away. So even if once I was hearing the lecture of Amarendra Das Prabhuji, so what he said is that even if you're alone and if you're not feeling connected with people around you, you should zip your mouth and chant within inside. So because you should always remember that it's just a journey which will pass by. So this is something that if we are not feeling connected somehow, we should zip our mouth and keep chanting within us so that moments will pass by. This is how I feel, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And the other day I was in office. Sometimes I go physically and sometimes at home. And for over there, we have to put mask. And I was just feeling actually it's kind of a blessing in disguise that now you can move your mouth also and no one would know what you are doing. Because otherwise, if you keep moving your mouth, then they'll say this person is crazy, right? But now the mask is covered, so they don't know my mouth is moving or what I'm doing. So I was feeling like that, that it's kind of a opportunity. Thank you for sharing, Kashish Mataji, that realizations. That's wonderful. Okay, so quite late. We'll stop here. Grantraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Samasta Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai.
Yeah.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.